All right. Hello, everybody. My name is Tahera Rene Christy. This is Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. We are revamping and relaunching my video blog that I started, about 5 years ago. I want to say 2018, and then life kind of got in the way, and I was not able to continue. And I also decided to move away from the more the video, the chat or the typing, and I decided to go towards more of a video blog, which I was totally against for a very long time for a myriad of reasons. But I realized I need to give this beautiful benefit of. Sorry, I'm getting used to my equipment. You guys are literally watching this in real time. I'm like, why do I sound so far away? I swear I'm closer than that. Anyhow, my equipment, my lighting. This is why video is so tough for those of us who are not used to that. In fact, side story, my very best friend in the whole wide world, we've been friends for over 30 years, and we have tons of technology available at our fingertips, but we pretty much only talk on the phone. We live multiple states away. I could FaceTime her, I could chat with her on video, but we have gotten so good at our conversations over the phone and not really focusing on the visual. So it has not been a huge, important thing for me, but I wanted the opportunity to try this out. So I didn't tell anybody I'm going live. I just kind of went live, and I'm trying out different platforms. So my first platform here is through YouTube, and then I'll expand from YouTube and go from there and kind of see how this works. So thank you for going on this journey with me, and I will refine it as I go along, and I'll get better and better, because that's what life is all about: trying something, failing at it, trying something else, failing at that, trying a few more things and failing, and learning and growing until you figure out exactly what you're supposed to be doing. So if you've made it this far, even thus far, I appreciate you, because so far it's just been a bunch of mumbo jumbo and me trying to figure out what this whole thing is. But I know I have something great to offer to the world on so many different facets, and this is just my life experiences and me sharing them with you. So thank you for watching. Today's topic that I wanted to talk about was actually pillow talk with me and my husband early this morning. I didn't get a lot of sleep, but it was a great conversation. And I'll just kind of set it up if I can remember the total premise, because I was literally half asleep. My husband got home late, and he saw me turn over in the middle of him getting into the bed. So of course he's like, "Hey, what's going on?" I'm like, "I'm asleep. I am not trying to be awake." I'm giving those, half answers and like, nothing. And but he wanted to engage me. He hadn't seen me all day, so I understood. So of course, my eyes are closed, but I'm still going to respond and give him my attention. And he mentioned something to the effect of, "Well, I'm going to try this." And I said, "Well, why are you going to try that? What's the reason behind that?" He's like, I'm just going to try it." And then I went into the soliloquy of conversation that I want to share with you. He said, I don't have a reason. I just want to do it. And I was like, okay, well, what is your intention behind what you're doing? And I think that the most important thing that so many of us are missing behind our travels in life, no matter if it's something that you've decided to do or something that has been thrusted upon you, we have to work on our intentionality. And people throw that word around. What is your intention behind what you're doing? But what does that really mean? In my husband's response, he said, "Well, my purpose is to do this." And I said, "I think you're misconstruing purpose for intention. Those are two different processes, two different actions, if you will." The purpose, and the example that I gave was, the purpose behind a pencil case is to put a pencil inside of it so that you can carry your pencil around. If you so need a pencil at any time, you can pull that pencil out and use it. That pencil case purpose, its sole purpose, is to hold pencils. That's all it does. It's a function. Whereas intention is, I'm meaning to put this particular pencil because I've shaven it down to the perfect width. It's the perfect pencil. I intend to take it to this important math test for me to pass. because this is my lucky pencil and I need this particular pencil in order to get me through this big moment. And that's such a simple way of saying that you may have purpose behind whatever you think that you're doing that may benefit you, hopefully. But do you have intention behind that? And I think that's a great way to kind of slow down and think about exactly why you're doing whatever it is that you're doing. I think about this podcast. So many people have told me for years, you need a podcast, you need to do this, you need to do that, you need to do commentary on other people's videos, you need to start this, and you need to finish with that. I've been given a lot of instruction as to how others see me and as to what to do with my talent at any given point in my life since I was a wee little kid. I've always been told what I should be doing with my talent. Um, but nobody's ever asked me what I wanted or asked me what I needed or would it benefit me in which way, whatever they're suggesting to me. They just know how they would benefit from it or how someone else would benefit from it. It's the difficulty of being a multi-talented individual. I'm not complaining. I'm saying this is part of the plight in that there's lots that I can do very well. And I'm very grateful for the gifts that I have. And I work my butt off every single day to utilize as many of those gifts as I can. But do they all benefit me? And the answer, quite frankly, is no. And what I've found is that when I put intention behind whatever I put my time to, whatever I decide to utilize my energy towards, it has to have some level of benefit. Otherwise, it's not pushing me towards my specific purpose or an important output of my purpose. Let's just break down purpose for a moment. Your purpose is what you were built to do, is what you were designed for. It is why you were born. Whether your parents intended to have you or you were an accident, there is purpose in you surviving and making it this far and this long, listening to this podcast for whatever your reasons are. But all of us have to self-actualize and figure out what our purpose is in life. And it's something usually quite simple. My purpose is to help people. My purpose is to motivate people. My purpose is to build something, to create something. My purpose is to, take care of my parents, love myself, love my siblings. My purpose is to travel far and wide and be an explorer, or my purpose is to do extreme sports or whatever that is. There's a myriad, or cook amazing meals, bring people together. There's always some small concept that have multiple outputs of what that means. So for example, my purpose is to help people. Now, how do I do that? Well, I can do that in so many different ways. I can call people that need to hear a positive word. I can, help somebody, a single mom who needs gas in her tank to get her kids to and from school. I can sing a song to someone who just really needs some uplifting and encouragement. I make soap and hand sanitizer and candles and lotion. I can make something that heals someone's skin. There's lots of things that I can do to help people, but I know at the end of the day, that boils down to me serving my purpose, which is to help people. Now, how does that help me? Well, it brings me joy to bring other people joy. It brings me joy to see someone eat a good meal that I cooked, or to tell me how it made them feel when I sang a specific song, or if I said something that made sense to them, or I connected to that person in a specific way that helped them to feel something that they were holding inside. These are the things that I've heard in my life that I'm grateful I was able to provide such support for people. But then there's also purpose that doesn't necessarily go toward any given goal. I say that to say I have had many outputs of my purpose in life, and it's benefited many people. But what have I received from that beyond the feeling of, oh, that person's happy? How am I self-caring during that process of giving? And I think my biggest disconnect was I can say yes to everyone because that's one of my specialties. But in my 40s, I'm learning how to say no so that I can say yes with purpose and with intention. Because one of the key pieces for me that's missing in my output is my rejuvenation. because part of being a giver is oftentimes we are depleted because we tend to give and give and give until we literally have nothing else to give to anyone. And that serves no one, serves no purpose. I'm tired and I want to cuss everybody out, and I'm mad and angry because I never got replenished from the things that I need. And that's the whole point, is we have to focus on what supports us as individuals so that we can continue to offer yeses with intentions so that we are not depleted of our natural resource, which is our gift, our energy. So intention becomes very important when I wake up in the morning. I intentionally, before I touch a phone, before I even use the bathroom, I say thank you. I just, to the universe, to God, to the air. I want to stay in a state of gratitude from the time that I wake up to the time before I go to bed, so that I'm very intentional about putting out in the atmosphere my gratitude, because I believe very wholeheartedly in manifestation, and I wholeheartedly believe that you cannot take without first making a sacrificial give. There are plenty of people who take. Narcissists around the world. We know that. But that doesn't mean that what they're receiving holds benefit for them. And I want everything that comes my way to not only be specifically for me and have great intention for what my goals and purpose and drive is for, but I also want it to serve purpose so that I am not having to dodge things that aren't for me, being disappointed by those things because I get excited about things that are not for me, so that I can really focus on what makes the most sense for my life. It's an advanced concept because most people don't think like that. But I feel that if people spent more time focusing on their intentions, that have the ability to manifest whatever they want in this world, it would never lack for anything. Now, obviously, that's an extreme statement that has many sides. I'm living in a first world country. I live in the suburbs. I have access to privileges that many people do not have in the world. But I feel that the power of the heart and the mind and will and intention give people more strength and more power than they actually lend to. And if we had more access to that mental fortitude, that emotional intelligence that yields power towards our desires and our goals, um, when we set intentions for ourselves, everything literally has the ability to fall into place, because you commanded the energy within you to control the energy around you, which controls the environment that you're in, which ultimately yields to what you want. So no matter what your purpose is, if you include intention behind serving purpose, working toward a goal, having intentionality about your gifts, you're winning. That is the ultimate. That's the secret that nobody wants regular people to know. And I say regular people because the average person doesn't necessarily want to follow that. Either it doesn't make sense to them, or they're not ready to do the work that's required to slow down, take a huge leap of faith that it can work for you, and do it consistently. That consistency and that drive and that willpower is going to be the key to your success ultimately going forward. So I encourage you. This is not going to be a long podcast because it's my first one back and I'm so happy to be back. But I encourage you to set intention. What are 3 ways for you to do that? And whatever it is, your purpose or your goal or what you're focused on doing. Number 1, have a clear sentence in your mind or that you write down of what you want to see happen. Let's just say I'm throwing a birthday party. I intend for 50 people to show up. That's my intention. What do I have to do to work toward that goal? First of all, invite 100 people, because we know if you invite 50 people will not show up. So you've got to overshoot your goal in order to make sure that that number is met, right? I intend for this amount of people to come. I'm going to over invite. I'm going to get people out early. I'm going to make sure they have the invitation in hand. I'm going to make sure they have the information. I'm going to put on a day and a time that makes the most sense, that most people are available. I'm going to set myself up for success with my intention of getting 50 people at my party. Next, you're going to manifest this goal, this purpose that you have for yourself through positive visualization. I see people in beautiful dresses. I hear the DJ. I am tasting the food that I want. I'm thinking about the weather. It's going to be perfect. I'm thinking of all the things that can go right in my party, the things that I want. Will everything go right? Likely, maybe not. But if I have intention behind my desire and my purpose, the universe hears me, right? And I believe that. And if I believe that, then I have more intentionality around what I want to see happen. And more likely than not, if I do the work and have that faith and belief, it is to come to pass, right? So that's another step two. I would say step three would really have to focus on belief, right? So you have the work that you're going to do, you have what you intend to have happen, and then having the belief system that does not waver upon circumstance. Say you invited 100 people and already 40 people have said no before you even get RSVPs. You're like, oh my God, only 60 people. And then 20 more cancel at the last minute. Well, I said I want 50 people to show up. So-and-so's cousin is out of town. She's got 5 people that she wants to bring to your party to fill up the party. You never know how it's going to work out. But if you have the faith behind what you want to have happen, understand that the universe is going to work it out, just not necessarily in the order that you want it to happen. But it can happen. It's just going to happen in the time that is necessary for your benefit. And for me, the way I look at that is kind of like flowing with circumstance, right? There's only so much we can control in this world. And we have a lot of control. We really, really do. We just don't control what we can control well. We want to control other people, other things. We want to control situations that we have very little control over. But if we learn to control ourselves, our behavior, our thoughts, our beliefs, our drive, our focus, our intention, we will have more power than we know what to do with. So for me, I really think that that is the key. I flow very well with things that I don't agree with. That doesn't mean I don't fight. I was in corporate sales for 20 years. I know how to get what I want. But what made me a great salesperson is the fact that, number one, I related to the people that I sold to. I got to understand what their needs were, what their focus was, what their intentions were, what their desires were. And if I had a solution for them, I could walk them down the path of understanding what it is that I offer based on what they said that their needs were. And if that was a good match, then I would suggest doing business together. And that seemed logical and reasonable, and people gave me the time of day. What if you did that for yourself? What if you sold yourself on the belief system that you can have everything that you want in life, but it is not your job to control how it comes to you? That doesn't mean there's no work involved. You must do the work, but you must have your intentions in place. You must speak what you want or write down what you want, what you desire. Once that intention is put in place and you have that desire to move forward, you'll block a couple things that aren't things that you need. But knowing who you are, actualizing yourself, knowing what you like and what you don't will help. I find that a lot of young people, and having 3 grown kids of my own, I find that a lot of young people just don't know what they don't know. They don't know what they don't want because they haven't been through enough life to know what they don't want. It's not till we get a little bit older that we really know what we want, but we know what we don't want. My 8-year-old, when she was a baby, we used to sing this song to her that's called I Don't Like It. I said, I don't like it. I wasn't trying to get to singing in front of you, but I literally used to sing this to her when she was a baby because she used to, I don't like it, Mommy. I don't like it. And I'm like, okay, well, let me just harmonize with you. And I used to sing over her and she would look at me like, what are you doing? But this was me poking fun at her and the fact that she loved telling me what she didn't like all day, every day. She was learning what she didn't like. The things she did like, she never cried over. Clearly, she wanted more of those things. But she protested over the things that she didn't like, even if they were things that she needed. So as we figure out what we don't like in this world, it's important to also manifest the things that we do like. Because if you just focus on what you don't like, you're going to get more of that, because the brain and the energy around you is based on negative. It's based on opposite of the desired pull that you want and need. Even getting ready for this podcast, I kept saying, I don't want to do a podcast. I don't want to go live. I don't want to do video. Well, it just prolonged me doing what I already intended that I needed and wanted to do. So I went ahead and bought the equipment and stopped talking like that and said, I'm excited about doing this podcast. I'm excited about what I can bring to the world. I'm excited about sharing my gifts with others. Even though I said to myself, well, who's going to watch my podcast? Instead, I said, everybody's going to watch my podcast. I'm so excited about the people who are going to watch my podcast. They're going to get so much benefit from watching my podcast. So just to shift from what I don't want to shifting into speaking of what I do literally changed my whole scope on this process. I get to podcast versus I have to podcast, because this is exciting. This is a great new way to interact with people and meet people and talk with people and help people. And you don't have to be right in front of me to get this. So I'm excited for me. I'm excited for you. And I really thank you for listening to all of this. One thing as a creative, it's really a difficult task to get people to believe in your creations and to convince somebody that something you create is good for them, or they can benefit from it, or they may like it or not, or hate it and throw it away. Putting yourself out there is really everything. It's such a beautiful confidence boost if you can throw caution to the wind and just give of yourself, knowing that some people will hate it, some people will love it. But as long as you do it with your whole heart, it's all good. And I'm very grateful for this opportunity to speak with all of you. So the word of the day is intentionality. Do everything with great positive intention so that you can benefit from the purpose you have behind everything that you were meant to be and more. Life is literally waiting for you to live it, and it's for you to grab as long as you believe that you deserve everything you intend. So with that, I want to say thank you for joining me. My name is Tahera Rene Christy, and this has been Filter Free with Tahera Rene Christy. I look forward to you all joining my live once again as we get on a regular schedule of all of this. Take care and God bless.